welcome to the Craft Beer Corner. For today's beer review, we're jumping into another beer from Drekker Brewing Company out of Fargo, North Dakota. This one is called, your guess is as good as mine is how you would pronounce it. It's P-R-R-R-T, Prrrt, maybe, I don't know. But that word followed by So Good, so P-R-R-T, So Good. This one clocks in at 7% ABV. It is a sour ale, and specifically, this is a cotton candy sour ale. That's how they term it. And it does have added blueberry, strawberry, and cotton candy into the mix. Always, always awesome. When I saw this one pop up on Tavour, I knew I was going to grab it. I've only ever had one or two beers with cotton candy in them, but they've both been awesome, and I thought it would work well in a sour, and Drekker does a really good job with their sours with additives. Label art on this is very colorful. Blue and pink. It almost looks like, I don't know, maybe a pirate or something. I'm not exactly sure what the label art is, but it's very, very colorful. It gets me in mind for a sour that's going to have strawberry, blueberry, and cotton candy in it. So let's give this a gentle opening here. Obviously, with these fruit additions, you do have to gently rock the can, so I'm hoping this doesn't go everywhere. Okay, good. Good. That means I was gentle enough. All right, we're going to get this poured in our nice tall all-purpose glass. Oh yeah, very, very thick, as expected. Very, very thick boy with these fruit additions. So they didn't term it a smoothie sour. It is clearly a smoothie sour, which is to be expected. That is one thing I have come to know and appreciate from Drekker. So it's very, very thick. Did form a little bit of a head here, but it might have some very slow carbonation that will also catch on the top just due to the thickness of the beer. It's so thick, it's going to take a while for it to come up. Visually, as you would expect, it's a dark purple since it's got blueberry and strawberry, red and blue. I'm going to make a purple hue. Looks very, very nice. Let's jump right on top of this. I want to smell it because I imagine it's going to smell fantastic. Oh yeah, it sure enough does. Okay, so the first thing I catch on the nose is that I'm definitely getting a nice sense of this sour and tart aroma coming off of the beer, but the strawberry and the blueberry are equally quite present. Now, I can't pick up any aroma on the nose that smells like cotton candy to me, but what I can tell you is it smells very nice. It's exactly what you might expect smelling a big smoothie sour. It smells of the fruit additions, and it's got a distinct tart and sour aroma on the nose. Yeah, that just smells fantastic. It smells like an absolute glass of sour fruit juice. So without further ado, we are going to jump right in and see what this one's about. Oh man, that is so good. It's a thick boy. Yeah, a smoothie sour, you would expect it. If it needs to be said, which obviously I'm going to say it regardless, the body is weighty. It's a 7% on a smoothie style sour. It feels big. It feels big. Mouthfeel, same thing. It feels extremely resistant. These smoothie style sours, if you haven't had any yet, I recommend them. They're very, very thick. Think about the thickest beer you've ever had and then throw that out the window and think thicker. That is the mouthfeel on this. It feels like a substantive beer drinking experience when you drink it. And there's a reason they call them smoothie sours, because they have that same thickness like you were having just a fruit smoothie. It's that texture. It's that weight. It's very, very heavy. It's very, very thick. Very nice. Does a good job of coating the flavors all over the palate with this thickness of the beer style. So I gotta say, as I kind of expected, and I've come to know this from Drekker, you do get a nice little sharpness of sour and tart up front, then it backs off. It doesn't linger oppressively. You get a good sharpness on the nose, and you're going to get a good sharpness when you first sip, and then it dials back, and then the additives come in to tell the rest of the story of what they did with the beer. In this case, strawberry and blueberry, absolutely delicious combination of fruit. Anyway, but in a beer, and particularly a sour, I think it works very, very well. And I think that they balanced it beautifully. Now, on my first sip, the initial impression is that sour, that tart, and the fruit. It isn't until we start getting down a little bit on the end of the finish where the kind of cotton candy element really pops out. It doesn't pop out up front. It's a lot more subtle. I couldn't pick it up on the nose, but it is present in the flavor profile and it does come in on the back end. So I'm going to jump back in as always, get a second sip, make sure I didn't miss anything. We'll talk a lot more specifically about the balance and the details of the finish, but on first sip, this is another winner from Drekker. Take two. Oh, it's so nice. Nice sharpness up front, sour tart, dials back intensity, sitting around 3-4 second mark. Really pulls back. The strawberry and the blueberry really open up. I gotta say the balance on this, absolutely top tier. There's nothing in this flavor profile that's vying for attention, and it's very, very nice. This is a smoothie, actual smoothie drink lover's beer right here. In fact, most of their smoothie sours that they do at Drekker, I would say the same thing. Like maybe you're just getting into beer, just getting into sours. I would highly recommend checking out Drekker's offerings. They are fantastic. So get a really nice kick. And it takes about 10-15 seconds, give or take, for that intensity to slowly kind of sit there and plateau. And then you start to get subtleties of the underlying malt bill. On this one, it puts me in mind of a lot of kind of classic German sours. Think Berliner Weisse, think Gosa. It's got this kind of crackery bread crust flavor to it. That's the flavor coming out of the malt bill. And indeed, it's on the end of this finish. Again, on second sip, same is true. That's when the cotton candy element really pops out to me. It doesn't pop up front. It pops on the back end as the finish is doing its decay. Now, in terms of a sour, it's not a beer style you would typically expect to have a super long finish, but I gotta say this one definitely is a bit longer than average. It's definitely above average for sure. It's not ridiculously long. They didn't put this in a spirit barrel to age it or anything like that. It's just got a big intensity of the flavor additives that they put, namely the strawberry and blueberry, and it's clear they were not shy. Had a suspicion when I saw the color, but yeah, this is a really, really well put together beer here, guys. Absolutely wonderful. In terms of texture of the finish, this is not one of those dry sours, and I didn't expect it would be given that it's a smoothie sour. It is very wet, it's very round. So yeah, all in all, another great smoothie sour style beer here from Drekker. I'm a big fan of this one. I'm gonna take my time, sip on this, count my scores. When we come back, we will get this beer ranked from top to bottom. All right, now that we've gotten to enjoy this beer, we're gonna get it ranked. This was Drekker Brewing Company's, we'll just call it Prrrt So Good. This one clocked in at 7% ABV. It was a smoothie sour ale. Specifically, they called it a cotton candy sour ale. And indeed, it was brewed with blueberries, strawberries, and also cotton candy. Drekker is based in Fargo, North Dakota. So guys, this is just another entrant in a long line of excellent sours from Drekker. They do a great job. All of their interesting kind of flavor combinations, they really do well with. This was another great example. Only one of maybe 2 or 3 sours I've ever had with cotton candy. All of the cotton candy beers I've had have been sours, and this was just as awesome as the ones I've had before it. So, across the board, this beer did extremely well. 3 total categories that did not get a perfect score, so we are just going to jump straight to those 3 in question. And the first of those was the finish. So this is a smoothie sour, big thick beer, a lot of additives, a lot of flavor. A sour beer style is definitely not one that's known for having a really long finish. But this was definitely above average. Not as long as some, but it was definitely longer than the norm. And where it ended up, I really personally appreciated. And it just had this very fine taper, but really nice. Really nice beer overall. I enjoyed it. Longer than average on the finish on this one. It does get a 7 out of 10. The next category that did not get a perfect score was the head and retention. Look, it's a smoothie sour. It is what it is. It formed a little bit of a head and it held there just because it's so thick. Now, in general, on a sour, you know, You may get a little head creation at the very beginning, but they're very effervescent. They're going to break away. A mouthful of sour beer foam is not ideal, and it's indeed atypical on a sour beer. But given that this is a smoothie sour and it was so thick and slow moving with the effervescence moving to the top, the head did stick around just a little longer than you would normally see. But I only docked 1 point. The head and retention gets a 9 out of 10. The third and final category that did not get a perfect score is the balance. So in general, I thought this was an extremely well-balanced beer, particularly concerning the malt bill, the souring, and the fruit additions. What I was craving was just a little more forward presence from the cotton candy that they added. And to be fair, they probably would have had to add quite a bit to really let it pop through the combination of the sour and tart from the underlying beer itself, as well as the strawberry and blueberry additions. But make no mistake, it was absolutely delicious. I just would have personally liked a little bit more presence from the cotton candy, both on the aroma, which I really couldn't discern any, and in the flavor profile. It really came in on the back end of the finish. It was a nice little treat, but you know, you're gonna call it a cotton candy sour. Yes, it's in there. I would have liked personally just a little bit more. But I only docked 1 point here as well, so the balance does get a 9 out of 10, which does leave a perfect 10 out of 10 in the remaining 7 categories. That is aroma, taste, body, mouthfeel, appearance, feeling/intangible, my subjective thoughts category, and example of style. So the total score on Drekker Brewing's Prrrt So Good is a 95 out of 100. Okay, guys, whatever you may think about the name, the beer speaks for itself. Absolutely delicious. If you're a fan of these big smoothie sour beers and you've yet to try any from Drekker, I do highly, highly recommend them. Absolute masters of the style. This was another in a long lineup of just extremely well done smoothie sours I've had from Drekker. This is one I would absolutely put on my list. Folks, that's today's review. As always, I do sincerely appreciate you tuning in today. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to stay in the loop when our videos go live, just turn on your notifications, hit that bell icon. Until next time, keep it beer, keep it craft. We'll see you on the next one. Cheers.